And thanks for staying with us, everyone. Today on Showbusiness, we turn our attention to the business of entertainment, an industry that generates growing revenue across Ghana and Africa. But behind the glamour lies a persistent problem: weak contracts and limited access to legal protection. Joining me is country journalist and creative economy analyst Kenneth Awotwe Darko to help us unpack why contracts and lawyers are no longer optional in the entertainment space. Good to have you in the studio. We are talking legal stuff today. So we hear about contract disputes in the music and film industry almost every year.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we should prepare for some as we head into the year. Why is this conversation very relevant today?
It's very relevant, especially now, because, I mean, we are just some weeks into 2026, but we have enough legal battles to last us the entire year. Because we've had, I mean, just this week we had the issue with Kwesi Arthur. We know what is happening with the Lumba estate as well, and some other issues around the space. So it is very important that we have some of these conversations to ensure that the creatives in that space are very abreast of, I mean, what they need to do in terms of these, I mean, global shifts that's happening. Because we know that there is a gradual shift in the way art is being consumed globally. So far, we know that there are more licensing deals that are coming up. There are different record labels that are moving from the West into Africa to, I mean, tap into the art that's being created here. And so some of these things come with a lot of conversation around contracts, agreements with different sectors. And so in order to ensure that the artists and the management around these activities are streamlined to ensure that there are no disputes, it is important that we have conversations like this to ensure that they are in safer spaces.
I mean, how about concerns from some creatives that lawyers are too expensive and they're only needed when there is a problem? How do you respond to that?
So it is this kind of thinking that actually makes this conversation important, because most of the time legal representatives are supposed to be preventive. They should help prevent disputes and, I mean, misunderstanding from happening. And so if you are able to involve some of these persons in the early stages of your agreements, or you're going into contracts, you're able to involve them around this period, it's even much cheaper to be able to afford to do these things around this time. And it's better than leaving it to chance.
I don't know about afford.
I mean, and
because most of them can't, can they?
Exactly, because if you get into a space where so much money has been made, and so everyone is now looking at benefiting from that big pie, it becomes a harsher legal battle, because there's money involved, there's so much money involved. People are willing to invest so much to be able to get what they think is a fair share to them. And so at that stage, it becomes very difficult to afford lawyers, because you're also looking at your financial capacity to go into that battle. And so if you want to prevent some of these things in the long term, when you're certain of it, it's easier to, I mean, contact some of these legal representatives for assistance before it gets too late. Because, I mean, there's that conversation that lawyers are expensive, and so it's harder to get them. But we all have persons in the spaces. There are relationships that can be created with some of these individuals. They are also human. They understand, if they really understand the situation that you are going through, there may be a way to meet each other halfway to ensure that everyone is catered for.
Well, I hope that is the case. But work is work. Anyway, so let's talk about some of the legal mistakes Ghana's creatives make. So as we talk about the weeks ahead, I mean, these are some of the things you should be watching out for. Exactly.
So for the issues that have come up over the past few weeks, we have realized that the vagueness of, for instance, an exit clause for some of these creatives is becoming a big problem, because once you sign on to some of these licensing, these record label agreements, and you have, for instance, you have different interests now, it becomes very difficult to get out of it. And that is where some of these conversations start that we are seeing over the past few weeks. And so if there is more clarity about some of these exit clauses, I mean, the terms and conditions around which these agreements are prepared, and the involvement of lawyers at the very beginning, because if they are not involved, trust me, it's going to be very difficult to resolve at the end. And so having lawyers at the very beginning of the conversation, and also making sure that the clauses around these agreements favor both parties. I mean, for institutions like record labels, they are interested in making the profits off of the investment that they have done into you. And also the artist also wants to have the maximum benefit. And so we need some of these things to be streamlined to ensure that
what needs to change to build a sustainable entertainment industry, do you think?
For now, as far as revenue and collection is involved, I mean, in the context of some of these events in the past few days, it is very important that even as much as we have copyright laws, there is that conversation that the structures are not robust enough to ensure that some of these payments go through the channels that they are supposed to go through. And so it actually compounds the situation that we are seeing now, where we have legal battles when it comes to who is supposed to get what and how is supposed to get to those spaces. And so we need stronger institutions to be able to cater for the interests of both record labels, artists, and everyone that's involved in the creation space, and also the involvement of lawyers. And we need to encourage more lawyers to also take up the entertainment space as a very good avenue for serving the society at large as well.
All right. Somebody's got his legal cap on.
We are not. We are trying to.
Hopefully soon, Kenneth Awotwe Darko Esquire. That's the marketplace, everybody. Thanks for watching. More news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Darryl Kwao. The day's latest story is over there. Y'all took it up. That's fine. My Joy Online. We're back same time next week.